Hello everyone. I am wishing you all, whether you celebrate Yule, Christmas, Hanukkah, or anything in between, and all things, I'm wishing you all a happy holiday season. I have been asked quite a bit over the last few days if I would make a video on this subject, and because after the new year I intend to do some videos that have perhaps a weightier subject matter, I thought that this would be a nice way to kind of round out 2015 by doing a highly requested video as far as the deck that I'm choosing to work with for Yule and for the winter season. So we've had here in New England a really warm winter season. It's been very, very mild, exceptionally mild. Like in all the years I've lived in New England, I've never seen a winter this mild. So it's taken me a while to kind of get into the Yule feel. Like I usually start getting that feel in November, like feeling the approaching Sabbath, and the weather kind of gets you in that mode of the decks that you want to call in and work with. And so I kind of had an extended fall as far as what decks I was going to be pulling from and working with. So it's only really in the last few weeks that I've really started getting my favorite winter decks out and giving. So because it's been so warm, it's just taken me some time to kind of get into the holiday winter spirit of things. And but I can say that now I'm feeling the energy of Yule really strongly and connecting with it really deeply. And so some of my more traditional for me, like decks that I usually work with in the wintertime, have really come forward. So I'm going to kind of do everything all together, not like in a list of from this number to this number being the ones that I'm working with the most. I can definitely say that for Yule time, though, I really like to work with Oracle decks. I find that I'm very drawn to them. I think there's something about this in-between space of the darkness and knowing that we're stepping into a period of lightening and reawakening and rebirth, but we're still very much in that dark chamber of personal growth, inner work, and that kind of space. And I find that Oracle decks work really, really well for me with that. There's an intuitive, very personal space you can go to with Oracle decks. Not that you can't with Tarot, because everyone knows that I love Tarot and that there are some big shadow work that I love to do with Tarot. But for this time of the year, I find that Oracle decks, I'm really, really drawn to working with them. So I think what I will do is start by talking about the Tarot decks that I'm going to be working with. And I only have 2 right now that I'm going to be talking about 3. I forgot to grab my other Tarot deck, and I'm not going to, oh, I'm sorry, I actually have 3, but I want to talk about 4. I forgot to grab the 4th one, and I just don't, it's nice and quiet right now, so I'm going to enjoy my quiet time with you all. So I'm just going to talk about the 4th deck first, and that's the Zombie Tarot. I was gifted this by a very dear and wonderful friend recently, and I had not purchased it myself because sometimes when there's too much of a theme, it can start to feel like kitschy for me and not really about tarot, more about the theme. So I had kind of really taken a step back, but then my friend was showing me the images from the deck, and I was really actually drawn to working with them. So a lot of you guys know that I love pinup styling, and it's a huge part of my life as Racine. I love to be dressed in pinup style and kind of really rock that 50s look, that 40s and 50s look. So the deck actually kind of has that feel to it, which was really what was kind of drawing me in. I thought it would be fun to work with that energy in a tarot deck. And I know a lot of you have the Housewives Tarot or it's something like that, which is based on that too. And that is one that's on my list eventually to get. But when I was looking at the images she was showing me, I was seeing that the structure of tarot was still very much honored and a part of the deck. Like it was a deck created with intention, not just to have a zombie theme because it's popular right now. So I was very, very intrigued. And then she gifted me the deck for Yule, and I really love it. And not only do I love it, but my husband loves it too. So it's a great deck for us to work together with and enjoy some quiet moments together. And so the Zombie Tarot is on my list for Yule and Winter 2015 into 2016 because it's one that I really want to spend some more time with. I want to do some meditation with and some really personalized spreads with. It's not a deck I'm feeling called to work with others yet, but it's very much one that I want to work with at a personal level and that I'm really excited to work with in that way. So yes, Zombie Tarot is on my list for this winter. The other tarot decks I have, some of you also know if you follow me on Facebook that I recently bought the Tori Tarot off of Etsy. The woman that makes them, I believe it's Galactic Cactus is her name, but I'll put the link underneath the video. She has taken so much painstaking time with this deck. And the reason why I wanted it, a lot of you know that I'm a big Tori or Tori fan, and her music has really got me through a lot and helped open my eyes to a lot. But, oh, I'm showing it to you upside down. So, in order to really buy a Tori Tarot deck, though, I wanted it to be one that wasn't just about having images of her, but was really about her lyrics, because she is someone who, in her videos, you'll see her getting tarot readings. She consulted a tarot reader for specific albums and the structure, to go along with the structure of certain things, of certain characters that she embodies in certain albums. So she has a real respect for the tarot system, and I'm glad that I waited to find a deck like this that was created by someone who really spent a lot of time with the structure of tarot and lining it up with her lyrics. So you can see for each tarot card, there are lyrics from various songs of hers portrayed, and this follows through with every single image. The borders aren't my favorite thing, but that's fine. Those can be trimmed down. And I love, for the most part, the Tori artwork that this woman chose to include. And here's the hierophant. And especially, again, the lyrics are really important to me. So this is a time of year when I listen to her music a lot. And I'm excited to work with this deck in conjunction with that, and also just this season as well. The other tarot deck that I have, which I've had for some time, but I have not done a review of yet, because I've kind of been sidestepping around her, and it's taken me a little bit to get comfortable with the fact that we have a lot of work to do together, is the Le Tarot de Femme Erotique, also available on Etsy. I will post a link to that below as well. There is nudity in this deck, so just want to let you know about that before I start showing you some of the images. And Gaia has also posted a review of this deck as well, if you're interested in seeing that. But this deck is really, really beautiful. Again, it has that vintage, turn of the 20th century feel to it. It's very sensual, very empowering feminine nudity, and really encouraging us to kind of take some layers off and look deeply into ourselves. And so this is a very sensual deck. But really stepping into honoring your divine feminine power, and I'm very, very excited to work with this deck for that reason, at a deeper level than I have been. Like I said, I've kind of been sidestepping around her, and she's been out on the altar, but I haven't really, really worked with her because I knew I needed to be in a space where I could hear what she had to say to me, and I'm really feeling like I'm in that space now. So for me, not only is it an aesthetic that appeals to me, but there's a huge message, a deep intention, and loving crafting of this deck as well that I am really looking forward to sinking my teeth into. So this is on my list for this winter and for Yule to really work with at a very in-depth and powerful way. Okay, so my final tarot deck on the list for early winter of 2015 into 2016 is a beloved deck of mine, the Yule Tarot. I used this recently in the deck challenge that we just did on the channel, and this deck is just so provocative and intuitive, and it very much holds the element of water for me. And something about being in winter makes me think of this, because we get so much snow here usually, although we're not this year. It really pulls me into this idea of frozen water and what it feels like to be held in a certain emotion and then be able to pull yourself out of it and really look at it from a different perspective and kind of sitting with yourself in a very stationary way. And I feel that the Yule Tarot really does support that type of work, this kind of frozen water element, as far as really encouraging you to turn situations and experiences and feelings on their head, and to trust your intuition and trust that feminine knowing within, instead of needing to go into an analytical space always immediately and that being what we're trusting. So for me, this deck is the perfect deck to use in the winter time. and it's one that I'm really excited to work with this year. In fact, it will probably be the deck that I use for my personal Yule rituals as well. So, here we go, onto the Oracle decks. I'm so in love with these decks. And I'm so excited to just work with them at an even deeper level. I did a deck swap recently with a wonderful, beautiful, beautiful being. And I was able to get the Rumi Oracle early because of that. So the Rumi Oracle is not, did I just say Rumi's Oracle? I meant Rumi Oracle. The Rumi Oracle is not available in the States yet. I believe it's coming in early spring of 2016. I have been so impatiently waiting for this deck, and so when I had this opportunity, I was just so deeply grateful, and so I am incredibly grateful to you, dear one, and you know who you are. And yeah, this is just like such a huge gift to me, and I'm so excited to work with it. And I actually just cleansed and cleared the deck last night, and I drew my first card from the deck as well. For some time, I really have not used spreads at all, and I've talked about that, and I am doing a video on that, guys. I know everyone's been asking me, not everyone, but a great deal of you have been asking me to do a video about that. I really let spreads go for the most part. I work very intuitively with my cards. But for this deck, I did pull out my old standby of the new interview deck spread. And it's on Eclectic Tarot form, and I did a little video about it. I think I was pregnant with Vincent when I did that, so it was a few years ago now, but I'll post the link to the deck spread below, so if you want to check it out, you can. But I actually pulled that out for this deck because I think that this is a deck that I want to kind of work with in conjunction with that more mental element of air as well, like I was just talking about the water element for the Tori Tarot. So Rasuli did the artwork again. This is an Avalon Fairchild deck. I think most of my decks here are Avalon Fairchild decks, as you all know. I really line up with her teachings and her channelings, and I find them to be very, very healing for myself personally. So this is a deck that combines the beauty and the wisdom of Rumi's poetry with Avalon Fairchild's channelings. And it's interesting because I was watching Avalon's review on this deck, and I'll post a link to that video below too. And it seems like there's been some controversy about like her pumping out too many decks, or that this deck was kind of just like generated a little too quickly. And I have to say, just from reading the intro to the guidebook and the work that I did last night, I already disagree with that. I think this deck is just as impactful as Sacred Rebels, but it's in its own way. You can't continue to make the same deck over and over. Each deck that you create as a deck creatrix, is going to be individual and unique and have its own voice and its own feel. So we can't expect to always get Sacred Rebels or the Isis Oracle. And I don't want that. I want to have decks that encompass every aspect of the human experience, so that when I'm in a certain mood, I can go to that deck. And so this is one that I have a feeling will marry well with the element of air for me, believe it or not, which is an element I have difficulty with as an earth sign at times. So this I'm really, look at this image. I've already fallen in love with this deck, and I am so excited to do some really deep internal shadow work with this deck, and kind of marrying it at times with the Journey of Love, which has the same artist creating the artwork, so that I can kind of do almost like giant spreads around understandings of various relationships in my own life and my own experience with my relationship with myself as well. So I have a lot planned with this deck for 2016, and I'm already starting to use it now, and I will be for you as well. Just look at that. It's interesting because my husband was home last night while I was working with the deck, and he was saying that the artwork felt very feminine to him. And it's interesting because Rumi was male when he was in his carnate body, and yet the artwork is emitting this beautiful sacred feminine feel to it as well. So I can tell it's going to be a beautiful marriage of that, and it's going to be a deck that I work with for the rest of my life, just like all of Avalon Fairchild's decks. So the Rumi Oracle Thank you so much to the wonderful, wonderful being who did the deck swap with me. This was like such a gift, and I am just loving this deck. So this is the Rumi Oracle, and that is on my list. I have 2 decks that I work with for most of winter and spring, and so this has been on previous lists, so you all will be aware of these 2 decks, and probably are expecting it if you've watched previous winter haul videos of mine. This is the Oracle of the Dragon Fae by Lucy Cavendish. This is the new edition with the updated artwork that I much prefer to the original. One of the few times that an update has been better for me than the original. I love working with this deck in the winter. There's just something about the dragon energy of fire and earth that really warms my soul when it gets cold out. So this deck, oh my god, look at that artwork. I want Jimmy Manton to do another deck, to illustrate another deck with artwork like this for the whole thing. I would love to see what a Fae deck, an entire Fae deck, would look like with his artwork. With no disrespect to the other artists in this deck because I love them all. But just, I think that would be really interesting. So this is a deck that has a very nurturing, quiet voice that, for me anyhow, that when I spend time with, really, really powerful things happen for me and clear awarenesses come through. So this deck, the Oracle of the Dragon Fae, is one that I have been doing some daily draws with Facebook for, and for the Facebook page, and I am really looking forward to working with this at a deeper level this winter. So this other deck is another Fae deck. This is the Wild Wisdom of the Ferry, also by Lucy Cavendish, with artwork by Felina Fennick. And who is as excited as I am for the Ferry Oracle, Fairy Forest Oracle? I'm so excited I can't even remember the name. But the newest Lucy Cavendish deck that's coming out, I'm so excited. And I know you guys are too, so Wild Wisdom of the Ferry is another one I like to work with in the winter. Again, I like Fae energy in the winter. There's something about that idea of going within and all the snow, and again, like the trees and the bareness and the beautiful starkness of naked trees against a white background of snow that for some reason this deck really calls to me with. And so this is one that I like to do a lot of journaling with. I think it's very easy to have a dialogue with this deck, like an ongoing conversation. And so the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy is one that I'll be working with a lot over the next few months. Okay, so the next 2 decks that I'm going to talk about, people have been talking about them a lot lately. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review or not. I think a lot of people have said, their opinions and shared them, and beautifully so. But I've had a deeply impactful personal experience with these decks. And I don't know, I guess I'm not ready to take that layer off yet. And these are the soul cards, both 1 and 2. And I have both. I am not combining them. It doesn't feel right for me to combine them. So this is soul cards 2, if I remember right. Oh god, now I can't remember. Yeah, I think this is soul cards 2. And actually, I was gifted this deck before I purchased Soul Cards 1. And I'm really happy that I did work with 2 before 1, because I think 1 is really, really impactful and at a soul level and much more, I think shadow work is much easier to get into. And then Soul Cards 2, for me, is more about like creativity and sacral chakra and expression of the self. So these are 2 decks that I'm looking forward to getting to know more, and that I want to work with more just at a personal level right now. I'm not working with clients with these decks, but just doing a lot of meditative exercises, creative writing with these decks, and shadow work that's supported by probably my Tarot Vampires deck as well. So you can see a few images from there. So I'm so glad that one of my dear friends felt that call to gift me the soul cards, because I really hadn't felt it. I wasn't really feeling it. Something about, sometimes you just don't know until you actually hold the deck in your hands if it's one that you're going to work with or not at such a deep level. And this is a set of decks that really are that deep, but there's something about holding them in the hands and actually seeing the images before your eyes as opposed to just on a computer screen or a phone or whatever, phone screen or whatever, that make a real big difference. So those I am super, super excited to be working with this Yule. And I have a lot of different realms that I want to visit with that deck. Okay, so Journey of Love is also on this list. This is the Journey of Love Oracle by Avalon Fairchild, primarily because I want to use it in conjunction with the Rumi Oracle. Now, interestingly enough, the Rumi Oracle has borders. The Journey of Love doesn't, and I like it better without borders, so I think I might be turning my Rumi Oracle down. So again, this is a deck that combines poetry with Avalon Fairchild's channelings, and it's really focused on the relationship with the self and then relationships outside of the self as well. I love this one. So this is a deck that as the years go by, I come to a deeper and a deeper love of, and I have to laugh that it took me so long to get this deck, because it's so much more amazing than I thought it was going to be. And I really was like, oh God, is it just one of those relationship decks that get churned out all the time that feel really inauthentic to me and are totally focused on getting the person that you want instead of inner work and the inner self? And I just should have trusted Avalon Fairchild, because it's very much not at all what you think of with a typical deck about relationships and love. It's very much focused on self and inner work and self-love and self-care and getting to know the self, and then being able to mirror that through our relationships outside of ourselves. So this deck is a beloved one of mine, and again, one I'm looking forward to working with the Rumi Oracle. My final deck on the list for winter 2015 into 2016, and for Yule especially, is the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle, also by Avalon Fairchild. Sorry guys, getting over a cold, so my voice is a little hoarse today. I was eagerly awaiting this deck, watching Avalon's reveal of this deck as well, many times before I finally get this beauty in my hands. And I cannot tell you, this artwork is so beautiful. It's so unique. You just don't see this every day. The colors, the detail. This is a truly gifted artist who's created the artwork for this deck. And the channelings of the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle, it's not like a regurgitated version of the Kuan Yin Oracle. This is Kuan Yin in her passionate self. She's encouraging you to open up to your wild side, to dance naked under the moonlight, to dance naked under the sunlight, to dance naked in the water. You know, it's like, this is encouraging you to stop holding yourself back, to stop being afraid, and to just grab life and live it, to live your truest expression of yourself and to not be afraid. And so this deck is, I love this deck. I think this deck married with the original Kuan Yin Oracle together is the perfect expression of how I experience Kuan Yin. She's a goddess that I've worked with very closely. She's a patroness of mine, and she is unconditional love. But unconditional love is not just soft and compassionate. It also can kick your ass, and it also can bring you to great heights of passion as well. And so this deck, this expression of Kuan Yin is her wild self, and the original Kuan Yin Oracle by Avalon Fairchild are just her in this beautiful epic scope, the way that I experience her. And I will be doing a full review of this deck, guys, because I've had it for over a month now. I've spent some time with it, and I have a lot to say about Kuan Yin and working with this deck. It's one that if you're sitting on the fence about buying, I really highly encourage you to purchase it. The artwork alone is going to take you to a place where you probably haven't explored with multiple decks before. And then working in conjunction with the guidebook, you're getting a really, really powerful experience. So this deck is amazing. I'm just so in love with it, and I'm so grateful and so appreciative that I get to work with this deck for the rest of my life, and especially for Yule. This is one that I really want to connect with this idea of the flame returning and the sun returning. Lighting that candle flame, working with this deck and feeling that energy of reawakening to the outside as well as exploring the inside. So these are my decks for Yule and for Winter 2015 into 2016. These are the ones that have really been speaking to me, that I'm super excited to get to know better, that I can't wait to explore at a deeper level, and that I'll be doing a lot of meditative inner work with. Some of them will come with me to work with clients, and some are going to just be purely personal decks at this point in time. They're all gifts, beautiful gifts of the soul, and they're ones that are a joy to work with. And so I encourage you, if you're thinking about buying any of these are decks that are going to be worth your purchase, worth your investment. So I'm very happy to be able to do this video with you all, because I can feel a real change in direction coming for me in 2016 with my healing work and with my focus on my work. And big messages coming through for 2016. And so the channel, you're going to see a lot more videos on healing work for the self, also understanding and growing your gifts. You'll see more videos on meditation, on expanding awareness, expanding intuition, connecting with the divine feminine, connecting with the sacred masculine, the divine masculine. The channel is going to be much more focused for 2016. I can feel a real change coming with it, and it's really a time for me to 2016 is going to be a year that I devote a lot of time and energy and connection into my spiritual work, and so I will be sharing that journey with you all, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So be prepared for a lot more videos in 2016, and videos with a very powerful, intentional, spiritual focus. So let me know what you guys are all working with for Yule. What decks are calling to you? What do you feel called to explore and to get to know and to understand at a deeper level for this season? Let me know that. And also I wanted to say that starting Sunday, starting tomorrow, the 20th of December, on the Facebook page, I'm hosting a huge giveaway for over 2,000 likes on my Facebook page, Artist Avalon. Post the link to that below as well. I have a huge collection of decks, as many of you know, a lot more decks than a person needs to have, really. And there are some decks that I'm just not feeling called to work with anymore, or at least at this time. It's time for some to move on and to find new homes that will love them and treasure them. And so I'm doing a huge giveaway of decks that I have in my collection, some of which I worked with, some of which have only been opened and cleared, and then I could tell that they weren't ones that were going to work with me very well. So there's going to be deck sets that I'm going to be giving away. So there'll be themes. There'll be a shamanic deck set. There'll be a beauty deck set. There'll be a chakra deck set, etc. There'll be a theme like that. And the entries can start tomorrow, and that's going to be on the Facebook page. So it's not going to be a difficult entry thing. It's not a huge stressful thing to enter. It's going to be very easy. It's just a way of me saying thank you to all of you, paying it forward, and also making sure that the decks get where they need to go. Some of them are ready to move forward. And another really great thing is that several of you have sent me decks to gift in this giveaway. So those of you who have sent me these decks, just know that your decks are also going to be a part of this giveaway, and that they are that part of paying it forward, so that people who want to work with decks but for whatever reason at this time maybe can't get their hands on certain ones, they're going to find their way into the right hands. So that's going to start tomorrow, the 20th of December. There'll be 2 weeks to enter, and then I'll choose the winners by intuition, as always, and then those deck sets will be sent off to the people that won the decks. So I'm looking forward so much to 2016 with you all. There's going to be just wonderful, expansive beautifulness for me, my spiritual path, and also sharing that with all of you is going to be a joy as well. And I hope that you're all having a wonderful holiday season, and enjoying Yule and the spirit and the energy that this space on the wheel represents for all of us. I will talk to you all soon. Many blessings and much love, guys. Take care. Bye.